Hello everyone, welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles, where once again we explore all those things that we're looking for in the future. Our individual connection through the paths that we have become familiar with grows as we speak, and the energies around us start to switch on. And a little bit of mischief and your engine turns on. You can feel it. You can feel the excitation, and you don't know what it is. It's your own music. It's your own vibration. It's your own being switching on because of something that we haven't yet explored. We've spoken about our spirit. We've spoken about our music, our signature, living beyond all sorts of things. But we've never spoken about what turns that power on. It's a combination of the music that you generate within yourself and the music of other people, with a little bit of a twist. Every time there's a little bit of mischief, a little bit of lightheartedness, it switches on. There's no key. There's no password. It does it by itself. And you can walk around in that state 100% of your time. Once you've figured out that it takes no time at all to switch it on if it happens to go off. Many things in life will switch off our power. We don't have to concentrate on them. We have to concentrate on the little light-hearted laugh or smile, or the wave of your hand, or a sense of excitement, and on it comes again. You fill your whole body with magic sparkles. And that little bit of mischief is enough to keep you going for the rest of your life. You throw some sparkles towards someone else, or up against the wall, or in the air and step into them. That little bit of activity, or even the thought of it, brings a smile to your face, and on goes your power system. And if you catch it just as it turns on, you can really make it fire. You can go, there it is, and bingo. You can feel the energy coming out of your skin. And that also turns on all your communication systems. All the inputs and outputs into other worlds, into other magic that we haven't described yet. It allows you to stand tall, even though you might not feel like you're standing tall. It generates everything to fix everything. And it eliminates all those little things that have got into your life that have caused you to throw parts of yourself away. Each time you say, I'm not going to do that again. Oh, that wasn't nice. You throw a part of yourself away. You put it in your back pocket and never get it out again. So as your engine comes on, if you boost it just by saying, great, I can feel it, all those things disappear. And they're like grains of sand. They disappear under your feet. And you don't have to fix anything. So every conscious moment, you can do something that amuses you, just to get your engine running. Even if you've got a pain, don't hesitate to tell your body, if you don't behave yourself, I'll get another one. it will respond. I can assure you, I do it often. Many times, you'll find that the flow in your whole life gets disturbed by one little event. And you never have the solution to that event, because half the time you were only involved because you were there. Or you made one comment in the middle of something that you don't know anything about. And next thing, the whole flow of your life has disappeared. Well, all you have to do is turn around, do a circle, just like a little child would. Open your eyes again, and you have a new life. Because that engine switches on, and it brings up the real picture, not the false picture that was hung around your neck. The old times of creating a picture of somebody and then dumping it on them have just about disappeared. They've actually disappeared, but you still find there's a habit that comes up every now and then where somebody's making an assessment of you or someone around you. You watch. As your engine keeps turning on, you haven't got time. The assessment is gone in the fraction of a second that it was delivered. Not because you ignored it, but because you've moved on. We're going so fast that all these things just disappear into the background. And like I used to tell people, it's all just fallen off the back of the truck. And you're not going to run around behind the truck and try and find it. It's gone. You're doing 100 miles an hour or more. It fell off the back of the truck and it's gone. There's nothing in your life that can last any more than a half a second. Because a half a second in your world is a lifetime. In that half a second, you can open up to your Creator, go to the other side of the universe, go to the other side of the world, visit a friend, be on the other side of the room, have a look at how you look from there, be up in an aeroplane, on a train, in the most exotic places, just by mentioning them. Because you are the being that's everywhere when your engine's running. And you provide all the power you need and all the energy you need, plus 1,000,000 times more for everyone else. So that's why delivering a bit of a smile, a laugh, a hug, a sense of recognition are more valuable and more lasting than any hiccup you can have in your life. So with great pleasure, I tell everyone of their conscious connection to their Creator. And it's actually one of the major switches that turns on your energy systems. But it's a conscious connection, not an unconscious one. It's eyes open, in your face connection, where you can look straight into the eyes of your Creator through anything you see around you, through any person, or through yourself, or simply know your connection, how it feels, and never let it go. But make sure you know that it's never fixed, because the fixed pictures are the things that damage your reality. Fixed pictures, fixed ideas. Things that you put together and said, that's it. Those pictures do not include one fraction of your life or of your being. So now, in everyday life, your consideration of who you are must grow. And it must grow enormously, not as a comparison to anyone, but something that's straight in your face, something you understand about you, something you know cannot be touched by anyone but you. Without any protection at all, it is not vulnerable. It's like trying to grab hold of smoke. You can't do it. It just goes through your fingers. And that's the nature of each one of us. So the only person that can affect you is you. And many people have said that for many years. The solution to it all is to remain connected to your creator. And that's done by switching on your engine, having a bit of a laugh, a bit of mischief, throwing a sparkle in where turmoil exists and watching it do its job. Know that people can hear you when you're not saying a word. Watch them turn their head when you pay attention. Feel the connection of each one of you as you scan all the people you know, all the people you don't know. And understand that as I talk to you, I talk to each individual. And the words are not that important, but the individual connection is extremely important, because each one of us can open and close that connection at will. And when you're game enough to leave all channels open, you're free. You don't have anything to do except enjoy the flow and the interaction from anything and everyone. So I said last week I would not talk about anything old. We'd talk about what's new. And the newest of all things is you. You're new every minute. Don't be afraid to actually allow the energy to come into your body and totally overflow. Fill you up to the top and overflow everywhere for everyone else. You have that capability. Overdose on everything. And watch as everything around you comes into the right pattern to make it flow perfectly. Enjoy what they call abundance. Make sure that you know that what abundance is much more than what's spoken about. Abundance is to have everything you ever need. And you do that by turning your own engine on. And it will generate everything. You can even laugh at yourself, and on comes the energy field. On comes the supercomputer, the one that belongs to you, that actually changes the nature of physical matter, changes the reality, and allows you to move through a world that's so full of interest, excitement, disturbance, that you find you're testing your skills all the time. And you can look at yourself and see how you tend to go into reactive mode. You have a laugh about it and boom, it's gone. And the progressive mode that we're in creates everything correctly before we get there. It allows the future to be ours. Each one in individual form, even though we're sharing what we think is the same space. For many years, people used to laugh at the fact that I would follow something past me. And they'd say, "What are you looking at?" I said, "Oh, it's just another being." Because I was aware of their presence. And it often happens to people and they're not sure what they're looking at. Have a bit of a look at yourself and have a bit of a laugh and say, well, we've got visitors. They're living in our house, our world, and not telling us they're here. I hope they keep it clean. And you watch, they'll start to keep it clean. There are ways and means of making sure even the unseen is interacting in a perfect manner for your world. And once again, no methods, just a light-hearted realization that maybe it's possible, so let's give it a try. Then when it happens and works, you start to look for a method and it never works again. So you go with everything that comes to you in a moment and know that even if there's a reaction, it's a reaction because somebody's tried to hold part of your field fixed. And your field is extremely powerful, extremely. And you don't need reaction. It just pops things out that don't fit. It gives the option of an easy transition into a form where interaction is beautiful. And if that is not acceptable, well, it doesn't appear in your field. It's just like you go to decide what car you're going to rent. And you almost open the door and you say, no, I don't want this one. And you don't have to have a reason. But you'll find the reason is that whoever had it before you wasn't really happy with life. And you don't want to sit in that. You'll start to know what seat to sit in, where to go in a house or in a building, where to sit in the movies. And that sensitivity will grow enormously. But you won't have to change anything. You will just walk directly to where you're supposed to go. For those who go shopping a lot, you'll find all of a sudden you're in an aisle that you didn't expect to be in, and you turn around and there in front of you is exactly what you wanted to buy. Either you'd forgotten about it or it's better than what you had in mind. You'll go into various stores that normally would take you an hour. You come out and find it only took you 10 minutes. The flow will look after you. This comes from you turning your engine on, turning on the power system that generates more energy than you can ever use, more knowledge than you can ever pass on. And it gives you precision in looking and receiving and sending from those unknown levels that work immediately. I'm sure you remember when you were a child, if you were supposed to sit still, your father or your mother only had to look at you and you knew, oops, I'm caught. But there was more than the look. You felt it before you actually looked. Oops, I'm under the eye again. You turn around, sure enough, and you sit still and not a word was said. These capabilities now extend to everyone. So you can transmit the nature of what you expect. And most people will be in a position to interact with that peacefully and smoothly. And that transmission is coming from you all the time. You don't have to stop and give someone the eye. You peacefully allow everything about you to float out into the atmosphere, to swirl around everyone and give them a hug. To allow them to walk freely and easily. If you see somebody struggling, you give them a lift without actually going into their field. And you can do that at any distance and under any circumstance. As you drive along, allow every part of your being to move forward with you. Feel the molecules pulling you forward, not the car. And all of a sudden, you find you're going along and you forgot that you hardly had your foot on the accelerator because your field is moving forward that tiny bit faster than the car. And I can assure you it will drag you along. To the extent where you can hook yourself onto the back of a vehicle. When you're driving, you can hook yourself onto the bus or truck in front of you and take your foot off the accelerator. It's not impossible and it's not freaky. The strength of your connection is enormous. And when you show a young child, they love it. They can do that. They'll help as you're driving along. I'll say, which car are we going to hook onto? And the fun is what turns on everybody's power system. And the little bit of mischief that nobody knows you're getting a free ride. There's much that you can play with, but know that it's more than a game, it's life. This is the real part of life that you came here for. The real part of life that's going to grow so big that you won't need anything else. And it exists in that fraction of a second that we've discarded in the past. I always used to say it takes 0.2 of a second to do the greatest task of all times. So if it takes longer than that, you're not even doing it. You're saying you're going to. So in that fraction of a second, you can be where you have to be. You can be in the condition you have to be in. You can be taller than you need to be. You can have the world at your fingertips. You can have everybody laughing. You can wink at a child, and next thing the whole family is laughing. All these things are very powerful, but they're also totally simple. And in that simplicity, your field will loosen up. You will deliver to the world everything that you've brought, and you won't hold back anything. And what you're delivering today is only a fraction of what you'll deliver tomorrow. And in the future, you won't even bother looking back to see how far you've come, because you're moving that fast and gaining so much momentum that yesterday or last year is not even as long as the tick on a clock. It's gone off the back of the truck and disappeared into matter once again. So I spoke about science and how they're realizing that everything you see is there because you're the observer. Everything you experience is there because you're the observer. So what you observe appears. What you don't observe is in another world, or in another frequency, or another state. And an observer can be in one place and look at a film of another place, and it exists because of the observation. So now you're in a position where you can see, but you don't have to see something that's told to you. You see what you observe. The multitude of images that come to you because you're observing. So you can decide on what to observe. And all of a sudden, the ratio of that thing will increase in your life. So you can observe the light-hearted mischief of being a real person. And you watch. That's all you'll get. The remainder disappears back into the TV or back into the ethers, and it's not really a part of your world. So don't hesitate to say that's not part of my world, and delete it. Imagine it being a big whiteboard. That's not part of my world. Just give your hand a wipe across and delete it, and it'll be gone. Your world is powerful. You are powerful. And what we're playing with is more than a game. It's the beauty of life itself, the magic of life. That's why I wrote the first lot of books. I wanted to know about the magic and the magic of life. And I wrote the stories that came to me. And there's many more. But some of them are so fantastic, you wonder how you could even think of them. But in fact, they're all real. They're all true. And we do live in a multidimensional physical world. And we can use those dimensions as we do when we're having a conversation in a group. We can talk to one person across the other side of the table and nobody else is taking any notice because we've set a dimension up that carries that conversation. You can do exactly that without saying a word. And many people do that and don't realize what they're doing. They're attracted to somebody. They create a channel between the two people. And no matter who's in the room, they can feel nothing apart from the fact that maybe you're disconnected a little bit from them. So now it's important that you remain totally connected to your creator. But that really means being totally connected to you, to the great person who wishes everybody perfect life, perfect health, and an extremely magic future. Thank you.